Good afternoon, guys. How's it going? Can everyone hear me? Quick audio check. Thank you. Yeah, so first of all, how is your week going? You know, like it's Friday again, Freaky Friday. We had the quit watching, right? Witching, and yeah, I mean, pretty interesting week, I'd say. Did you end up or down? Like, what happened? Let me know. I'll go over my stats in a bit if you guys want to, but wasn't too big of a week for me, but yeah, interesting week for sure. Mainly due to crude, right? Crude was very interesting to how they reacted on that. Yeah. So I want to go over how I trade the open, right? So I do always a little bit of prep as everyone should, of course, but so I go over the levels that I create in the volume profile. And here we go. This is the chart that I use for that. And I basically just, lay out some levels that I think are interesting, usually around previous highs and lows, HVNs, LVNs, things like that. I don't know if I need to go into what HVNs and LVNs are, but if so, let me know. So this is my how you say that, roadmap for the day. What happened in the overnight, what is likely to happen, or where can you expect a reaction, right, from the RTHs. So when that's done, and I had some levels for today, and it was sort of useful, I guess. I mean, I did some longs here at the low, initial push, and then I had some longs. I actually bought 92s, so that was not too bad. I didn't hold that long, but that was okay. Did not have a level there, but I based that on the order flow, and we can go into that in a bit. Yeah, so well, let me know, guys. It's Friday. How was your week? Let me know. Got a couple people watching, so so. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it was a pretty difficult week, I'd say. I mean, we had some volatility, right? But it was pretty hard to do, I think. Decent week. Nice. Yeah, so part of my weekly review is going over my stats, right? So I just oh, Danny called me. Danny should be here. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's see. Frustrated not being long right now. Yeah, had every reason to sell and didn't. I mean, yeah, it's okay, like if it wasn't part of your plan, then you shouldn't, worry about it, I'd say. And if it was part of your plan, you should, take a look at why you didn't do it, where you know, was it going down too quickly for you and you were like maybe scared of, you know, buying a falling knife, or I don't know, there could be 100 reasons why you're not, you know, executed what you wanted to do, right? So anyway, so how, back to the open. So let's scroll a little bit back to where the open was. For me, that is 130 at the moment. So we sold off right away, right? So that was interesting, I'd say. And I didn't do much. I saw the VWAP test. I did not sell it. I was mainly watching, and I was also a little bit careful because it was the quad witching, right? So a lot of things are expiring, things like that, and I don't know. I just wanted to take it slow or not even trade at all today because of that. But there were some interesting things though. Like here, you can see a clear build up, you know, just before top of the hour after the open. So that is something that I did try to buy into on the retest, and I got a decent trade out of it. Mainly targeting the previous RTA's low, right? But honestly, yeah, the short would have been nice, but yeah, I didn't have the balls to do that at the moment. Anyway, it's fine. And yeah, so today, because of that big expiration, I didn't copy trade that much. Oh, actually, almost nothing. Well, I didn't copy trade. That's the thing. So normally I copy trade, but when things are not so sure, or I'm not really feeling it, or some other external factors are playing, then I just turn off the copier and just trade accounts one by one, or I'm not trading at all. But with that said, like in Delta Trader right now, you can copy trade, and we will send it to production next week. Pretty sure. I'm running it now in the beta, but yeah, so it works pretty well. I've been using it for a while now, even though it's in beta. Yeah, it's been going well for me. But this week, I only copy traded, I think, on Monday. And well, we could maybe dive into the stats real quick to let you guys know. This was my week. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't do that much except Monday. Monday was a decent day, and the rest, as you can see, I didn't copy trade because my P&Ls are pretty low. Well, actually, maybe I did copy trade yesterday, a few accounts. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so yeah, pretty well. P&L wise, it's not that bad still, but it was for the accounts that I have, it's not that much. So, but yeah, I do take it into account. Like if I have a really good day, then I usually take it a little bit easier the next day. So and I think that's okay to do that. By the way, this is a free trade analyzer that you can use on my site, nielstrades.com, and yeah, you can import your rhythmic trades in there. You can just export them. Oh, there's a help guide also, but you can just export them and then import them here, and nothing will go to me. So it will stay in your browser, so you can safely upload your trades. I know some people are a little bit, don't want to share it, and that's the reason I made it. Now everything stays in the browser, so I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, back to the charts. So with that said, I did take the long over there. I still did not short. So in that sense, I could have traded the open a little bit better, I think. Yeah, as you can see here as well. No, it just went straight down. So yeah, like John is saying, it's straight down. Yeah, it's it's sometimes hard to watch and see it go down and not taking advantage of it. But I'm at this point in I'm after 17 years, I'm like, yeah, whatever. there will be another setup, and we got it, so it's all good. But sometimes you need to like I normally would take it. It was just mainly because of context that I didn't wanna. Thanks. I just read a comment. Niels is the best. I mean, I wouldn't say the best, but I'm doing all right, I think. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Right. So sometimes, so context is important, right? So context is, for me, super important. If like I didn't sleep well, I didn't do my prep, I didn't do. There are too many news events scheduled, then I'm even not trading. Like I'm trading maybe even one account, or trying to do some evals, things like that, but I'm not really trading my whole group of funded accounts. I'm not doing that. Oh, with that said, well, there's also a checklist. I made a checklist also in the, you can get it for free also at nielstrades.com. And yeah, so little checklist that either I'm not feeling well, I didn't sleep well, there are too many macro events planned, and I'm just not trading. So I might still watch, but I limit myself from executing on, at least on funded accounts, or copying trades, right? So yeah, for me that's really important, and that's a big part of how I trade the open. That sometimes means that I don't trade, and I think that's a very underestimated power to have, because as a trader, you want to do trades, and sometimes the best trade is no trade. So keep that in mind. But yeah, if you see it going down that much, like there could be a case of like, yeah, I want to catch the falling knife. But if you are new to trading, I think it's super hard to do, because it might take a few tries also, if you want to really go that way. I think I did try it a few times, because I try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I stop out really quickly, and I might try that 3 times, and before I stop doing that. And today, I think when I start doing that, I think I stopped out at least once, probably 2 times. But the 3rd time works, and that made back what I lost also on that, and then some, because the bounces are pretty big lately, right? So yeah, that's part of how I do it, but I mainly still base it off the footprint. So like I showed you, when it was forming that temporary low at the moment, the volume here is just telling me like, yeah, they probably want to either balance it out, or retest it and try again. I did buy it here, I believe, on another account, and I exited around here. So it was a good like 5 or something points, and then again. But yeah, so other than that, I also watched the dome. I don't have it here in the view, because it's very I can show you. I can drag it there and show you, but it's just, for most people it's too much, it can help, but I'd say in the beginning it might be too much for people, because especially with these empty books, and yeah, so I want to see, especially after the open, when the volume comes in, right, I want to see if there is like icebergs filling, quick accumulation of volume, which you can see in the middle. In the middle is executed volume, and I can reset it. So if I reset it, I can see it again. So usually I reset it once it opens. And here are the bids, and here are the asks. So with that, I just want to see quickly where they might. Here you see a big order, right? Now you want to see how they react at the big order. When it went down, it just entered here, that 150. So it's like 100 lot, I think. And yeah, so it's either pushing it down or waiting to get filled, or it cancels when it gets there. That's also sometimes interesting to see, right? So now you want to see if that 44, so they canceled now, right? And they might have executed lower here, I think, I just looked at the camera, but I saw something going on here, and they flipped the other way around. I think here at 8 quarters. Anyway, it's a little bit too much detail for most people, so I'll put it away again. But it's part of my sort of 3-step, you know, how I enter the market. So first is like the volume profile to create my, you know, longer term levels. Then I zoom in with the footprint chart. I want to see really where the volume is concentrated and how, you know, any patterns there or retest. And then the last one is the trigger, and that's also where I enter orders in. Actually, it's on the dome. And yeah, sometimes it can help you, but like I said, you know, it might be a little bit too much in the beginning. Yeah, so any questions so far? Let me know. You know, I know it's Friday afternoon already. You know, like some people might say, I've had enough this week. You know, let's go home or wherever you're trading. But yeah. And that's another thing, right? So I usually just trade the first 30 minutes or 45s. Yeah, I'll type it in the chat. My main thing is the first 30 minutes because that's when the most action normally happens, right? Hey, Danny. Everyone is beat. Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, it was a tiring week. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, right? Anyway, guys, this is the Delta Trader platform, by the way. You can get it for free with when you're trading with Pitbull Traders. Yeah, I will go over it more often, and then maybe do even you know, a real tutorial about it if you guys are interested. And it's a platform I built with my team the last 7 years, 6-7 years. You know, time flies. And yeah, it's web-based, so you can run it in the web. There's also a Mac app and a Windows app. And from next week on, a trade copier. So that's pretty cool, I think. Yeah, yeah. Danny uses it indeed. Yeah, very nice. And it works with Rhythmic at the moment, and yeah, so that's very nice. Yeah, guys. So right now, this week, since the crude like news stuff that came out, I did add a crude chart to my workspace, and that's, I don't know, it's just funny to me because I normally just have mainly ES charts on there and an NQ chart, and that's it. And the NQ chart is just a 1 minute chart just to have some context, you know, but I never really added any bonds or crude or anything like that. But since it was so volatile, you know, because of the crude news, I did add it, and I have to say it's kind of interesting to look at sometimes. I don't base that much on it yet, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it, mainly because it was so wild and it just impacted so much, right? So yeah, definitely interesting. Yeah, and that's in short how I trade open, and I don't want this to be a super short stream, but you know, I think it's also worth a lot to not complicate things, right? So what are you using? So a volume profile to get the longer term charts, footprint to zoom in more accurate levels, and then a dome to execute. So that's for me 3 steps. And then yeah, like I said, the checklist that I use, that is also on my site, nielstrades.com. If I'm either didn't sleep well, things like that, or any other things, I either size down significantly or don't trade. And yeah, again, that's a big part of, you know, how I start my day, by either not trading or you know, very reduced size. And I think and well, I know a lot of people underestimate that a little bit, even if they slept only, you know, or they, I don't know, they went out the previous night. yeah, let's trade, and then yeah, you know, it's you just gotta be so focused for this, and at least the way I trade, you know, where I scalp a lot, and it takes for me a lot of focus, right? So for me, the first 30 minutes that I trade, it can feel like I'm trading like 2-3 hours. Literally, it feels like that to me. And I don't know if you guys experience the same sometime, but it's just very intense. And because of that, I don't want to do it the whole day, right? And of course, it took me years to get to that point, but still, I'm very happy with that I can do it that way right now, and be done within an hour, right? And that's, yeah. And while that sounds super how you say that, idealistic or something, it's really better for me because the longer I trade, usually it doesn't mean that I'm doing things better, right? I'm sure you're losing focus, things like that. You get tired. You might even, I don't know. There's so many reasons, you know. You have more news later in the day, maybe. And usually you have top of the hour after the open. There's also news, right? So I also try to avoid that. So I'm never really taking position in with that news. So yeah, and with that you also need to react quickly, right? So you need to be wrong quickly and be right, ideally a long time. So yeah, I flip long to short sometimes very quickly if my ideas don't work. It either means that I'm wrong, or you know, things like that, or I stay flat. That's also another option, of course. But my opinion can change very quickly depending on what I see in the charts, and mainly in the footprint. So in this case, by the way, if we go a little bit into the platform, which is, can you see that? No, which is Delta Trader. Maybe you can see it if I do it. No. Delta Trader. So this chart is a 20 tick reversal bar. So that means that 20 ticks, so 5 points in the ES, right? If there is an opposite move in the direction of where the candle opened, it will create a new bar. If it doesn't, it keeps creating a new bar. So for looking at volume and volume profiles, that's helping me a lot. Because it reduces a lot of noise. So, you know, if you look at volume and things like that, in my opinion, time distorts how you see the volume more clear, at least for me, and that's why I use it. As you can see here, the profiles are a little bit more clear. That is, if I would have, like, I don't know, like a 5-minute chart or whatever, or a 3-minute chart or whatever, 15-minute chart, things like that. And with the footprint chart especially, you can also see the delta, right? So you can see the difference between the buyers and the sellers. So if there's more buyers at some point, you can see the delta turning green. And if there's more sellers, which is very interesting to see here because I hit the bid here hard, it's red. So, you know, that's another thing that I use to quickly kind of scope what they're planning to do, who's winning, you know, because I'm not moving the market, so I just have to go with the flow, right? If I quickly see absorption, what you can see in the footprint, I either go with that and see if it's winning or not, or use it as a support or resistance level, depending if it's higher or lower. Yeah. Any questions, guys? So far, you're pretty quiet in the chat, so let's bring it on. You know. And don't forget, guys, if you get an account with Pitbull Traders, you get Delta Trader for free. So pretty useful, I'd say. My background. Yeah, so I started trading 17 years ago now. Yeah, it's a long time. Time flies. quickly moved from like penny stocks and things like that, like some stocks in mainly France, because I moved a lot. I moved to futures because it was, you know, more technical, a little bit more, you know, more decent moves. So I thought, at least. Yeah, I moved to futures, became a very technical. Discovered order flow, I discovered order flow like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I think. Firstly traded with market delta, that you might remember or not, depending how long you're trading. So when market delta went away, I started creating software for it, because they just suddenly went away. I'm like, oh no. I was just building my algorithm for market delta, and they out of nowhere kind of like stopped. So yeah, I started building my own footprint. Yeah, Trevor. Yeah. And so I built my own footprint chart, and you know, the rest is history. In the end, built my own platform, and that's way too much work and time and money. But we're here. We launched last year, and yeah. But as a trader, yeah, I traded for a firm in Amsterdam also, and I was actually on the actual trading floor, the first trading floor in the world, because I believe the Amsterdam was the first exchange in the world. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that, actually. And yeah, super cool environment, you know, super high ceilings, and it's just a really big space and very cool. And right now they have like different prop firms there, and FX firms, things like that. But yeah, still very inspirational place to trade. And they had also the old the trading jackets, you know, they had still in the background hanging. And let me see if I can show you guys. It's pretty cool, actually. Where do I have that? But I think I have a photo of the site. Yeah, you can still see it. Okay, let me see if I can show that. Yep, I can. Yeah, so as you can see here, you can see the trading jackets in the background, right? Pretty cool. Very high ceilings, you know. I had too many screens though, because it's funny how I trade now. I had one computer just for charts with 2 screens, and I had a separate computer just for execution. So that's why you see the 2 keyboards and the 2 mouses. So I was actually using them also at the same time. So kind of interesting. But yeah, that's my background, you know. Danny, you have your trading jacket still, right? So that's also very nice. Would have fit nicely there on the background as well. I don't know if I can see what they are, like if I can zoom in more. I don't think, yeah, no, I don't know. But yeah, pretty nice. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah. But really cool place to trade, guys. It was nice. The firm blew up though. That wasn't so nice. But yeah. I guess it's a story you heard before, right? Like it's one trader that blew up the company overnight. I don't know how that's possible, but anyway, risk control was probably sleeping. Yeah, so it blew up overnight. Yeah, and that was it. Oh my god, yeah. So crazy things still happen. Yeah. And right now, yeah, so the market right now is just, you know, we're still below VWAP. So if I was trading, I would still probably be on the short side. Also because we have a, you know, a B profile, right? Which means they're buyers, but like the most acceptance is still at the low, and they're having a hard time getting above it right now. So I'd say longs are only may be good if we go above the 20s, and then buy a retest, something like that. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm also not trading anymore, so by the way, no advice at all. But yeah, the way it's looking, I don't know. It's just either we're gonna consolidate there, or yeah, I don't know. Not really feeling the longs yet still. After it's funny, after I just traded longs, but anyway, probably because the amount of hit I was taking. Yeah, record expiration today. Yeah, so that definitely is part of it for sure. You know, so they might want to tag the expiration on 6600, right? That could be part of it. Yeah, there was a BS bounce to squeeze. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I think too. And you can see that a lot happening, right? So they just squeeze it just to run it back the same way. Very, very, very tricky. And you know, it's just to push people out that are short. So it's very common for them to do that, but yeah, it makes it sometimes very hard because, you know, you want to have some decent risk going on and not, yeah, you cannot let it run forever, right? So my stops are super small. So my stops are, I don't know, at maximum like 4 points or so. So I'm really not going to let it run for 10 points against me for sure. And with this volatility, I even prefer like 3-point stops, or if I quickly can, I 2-point stop, but it's sometimes very, very tricky in this market. But yeah, I like to be wrong quickly and, you know, yeah, reassess later. Yeah. Easy to do on low volume. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly why I do that, right? So the books are empty, volume is low there, and it's very, very easy for them to move it around, get people off sides, or make it look good, like you know, often you see that little flush, and then gets people like, oh yeah, let's buy, now we're going, and then they're going straight down in the same minute. So yeah, you see that a lot too. And I remember years ago, it was always getting me on the wrong foot. You know, like, oh, spike, yeah, let's buy it. And then no, they just sell it down just as quickly. As soon as you're buying, they're selling again. So that's very, yeah, hard lessons that we had to learn over the years, right? And Q went to the previous bounce level. Danny, let's see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're retesting it here. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. But again, volume is low, and I think people are just a little bit on the sidelines right now. You know, expiration, a lot of things going on with crude, which is slowly creeping up again. You know, I would too, right? Yeah. Yes, I'm glad I'm not trading this, because yeah, I'm really wouldn't know what to do. I would probably try to buy it for a bounce and at the lower end of the volume here, but again, I don't prefer to be long here anymore. And it can still work for sure. Both sides can work, you know, 50-50. That's what I say. It's always 50-50. But no, I'm good. Like I said, I did my trades. I'm up a little over 9k this week. Yeah, so I'm, you know, I will complain anyway, but I'm Dutch, but like, you know, can't complain too much, I guess. Yeah, it's less than last week, but you know, it is what it is. I was also being really careful, and you know, saving my mental capital, and that's also worth something, right? So yeah. Yeah, cool, guys. I mean, I'm kind of, yeah, not sure what else to say about running the open, trading the open. Depending if you guys have questions or not, we could do this again. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna celebrate Friday afternoon because here it's already, you know, it's almost 5 p.m. And yeah, I'm ready for the weekend. Yeah. But yeah, again, guys, don't forget to give a little like and subscribe. And if you're interested about the Delta Trader platform, like I said, you can get it for free with Pitbull Traders. Yeah, let me know. We can do a little tutorial overview also next week. And yeah, happy to go over all the things that you want to know. Yeah, that's it. I think it's my time to step away. And yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Take care. Stay green.